I've wanted to write a book. I'll never get to it, I don't think, but a book of interviewing people who have extraordinary creative capability in every field. And you read some of this, right? Like an interview of Einstein. Now, how did it happen? And yes, for inventors, there's it's 99% perspiration, 1% inspiration. But also there's stories like the stories of Einstein, who just says, I was on a train. I just looked around and I saw one train going this way and I was going this way. And all of a sudden I understood the theory of relativity. People who have exceptional creative ability think of what they're doing in magical ways. So I think it'd be fun to interview people, how they do their incredibly creative things. And we could think of a violin player. How did they do that? It's magical. We think of a gymnast, magical. There is what's referred to as a hermetic saying. There's a whole hermetic tradition, which I won't get into, but there's a hermetic saying, as above, so below. As above, so below. Isn't that what the story of creation is saying? That we're made in the image and likeness of, as above, so below, right? We're made in the image and likeness of what is above. There's a name for God, which is Elohim. Elohim. And in Hebrew, that im on the end tells us that it's a plural word. It's a plural word. You can have a kibbutz, which is a commune in Israel, or you can have kibbutzim. So it's clearly a plural word. And if you look it up, biblical scholars have all kinds of excuses why it's plural and tried to deny that it was a plural word. And I looked it up because I wanted to know, like, what's the proper way to use the word? Do you say the Elohim, or is there a proper name, like Elohim, as a name for, as if it was a name for one God being? And apparently the biblical convention, the convention of biblical scholars is to say Elohim as if it's a name for one being, but it's clearly plural. So we have a friend who is connected with us who is an enlightened biblical scholar, native, I think it's native, but anyway, a Hebrew speaker from Israel. His name is Etienne Becker, and I want to read what he said. All translations of the Hebrew are false. Good on you. Etienne. Elohim is in plural. It represents who we are. The very first verse cannot be translated. It has to be experienced. We have been the creators of this world. It's Etienne's take on it all. As above, so below. It seems, why should that matter? Why should it matter? Why should our understanding of that matter? And I want to make an argument for why it does. If we conceive of God as being, then it's as below is different than what's as above. We're not one being, right? As humankind, we are humanity now up to something like 8 billion. If we understand that God is at the same time one family in total harmony and unity, and also plural, we will understand something about how we are made as human beings. We are both plural and we are one. And just as above, there is a center to the family of God. There is a center to this family that we seem to have lost. And so we end up in conflict, chaos, going all kinds of different directions. But there is a center to who we are as a human family, which I proudly declare here this morning, to be found in the here and now by each of us. We can figure out all the social part of that, the form of that, in due time. The essential matter is that we know it inside ourselves. We know that center in us. And in that sense, wait for the day so that it can naturally emerge among us as human beings. That one thing that we all hold in common that unites us all, that one love, that one divinity. Yes, we know we're plural, but we are also one. We're one because we share one thing. And that one thing unites us. And we know that one thing in the here and now, as we connect vertically with the reality in heaven, in the invisible, now. And as that heavenly reality is known and expressed and embodied by us in our living, we come to feel and know and experience that one thing that unites us all, that brings us all together. We're here to express and embody that one thing up there, if you will, above, and that one thing here, one thing. If we think what's up there is different somehow, how do we translate it? How do we even begin to experience it as the template for here if we think it's different? No, it's the same. It's the same, just at a higher level, higher vibrational level. It's the same. And when we know it's the same, it can translate into human experience at this level. And then we can inherit for real the powers that are given to us as human beings. We have fantastic spiritual powers. The power of love, the power of light, the power of consciousness, the powers of creation. Those are relevant for every phase of our human experience.